Beyond the Gates. Spoilers for Wednesday, August 13th, hint that Tyrell Richardson's and Samantha Richardson's world is about to be flipped upside down, while Chelsea Hamilton sets clear-cut boundaries. But will Chelsea's boundaries be adhered to? BTG spoilers note that Chelsea will be blunt in drawing the line in the sand where her ex-girlfriend, Allison, is concerned. However, Allison is a little out there, so it's doubtful that she'll follow Chelsea's instructions. Allison wants Chelsea back, even though she's with Dr. Madison Montgomery. In fact, it feels as if a stalker storyline is coming with this character. So after Chelsea irons out her boundaries, it looks like the real drama will begin when Allison starts causing real havoc. Across town, Beyond the Gates, spoilers imply Tomas Navarro and Catherine "Cat" Richardson will organize a spicy date when they participate in a salsa dance night at Uptown. Unfortunately, rather than add some steam into the relationship, the entire thing will only continue to turn Cat off from Thomas. The two did the deed last week, and while Thomas thought their night was sizzling, Cat was not overly happy about how her first time in bed went. So, what's the deal here? Maybe their bedroom session was amazing, and Cat has a problem with intimacy? Meanwhile, Cat's sister, Eva Thomas, will continue to get frustrated over her mom, Leslie Thomas's latest drama. During the August 12th episode, Leslie threw out a legal piece of paper that seemed to be claiming she had been awarded some inheritance. Leslie fluffed it off, but Eva encouraged her mom to look into it. Is it that Leslie is coming into money and she'll be off, spending cash she doesn't have yet during Wednesday's show, or will she continue to drag her feet to claim these funds? Either way, Eva will be annoyed. Finally, during the August 12th episode, Jacob Hawthorne and Naomi Hawthorne learned that June was Tyrell and Samantha's biological mom. BTG spoilers seem to suggest that during the August 13th show, they'll drop this bombshell on the kids and their dads, Martin Richardson and Bradley "Smitty" Smith. Just as the men were gearing toward a reunion, this news will hit the little family. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest a legal battle could be around the corner if the adoption of the kids wasn't finalized properly. After all, June's sister, Regina, never wanted those children to be given up and had the desire to be their guardian, but got to child services too late. Hayley surprises Bill by saying she wants to go not to a fancy restaurant, but the hospital. She wants to find out if and when they can try for another baby. At the hospital, they meet with the doctor, who says Hayley's recovery is going well, and they can try again within 3 months should they decide they want to. Taking Bill's hand into her own, Hayley says that despite having only lost their child yesterday, she is feeling blessed to have him in her life. She's not saying she wants to have a baby for him, she's saying it for them. Leslie's going through a stack of bills when Eva comes in from having grocery shopped. Among the junk mail and catalogs is a letter from lawyers about an inheritance. Leslie assumes the letter's a scam and throws it away. But Eva later calls Tomas to get his take on it. Tomas says he has to meet Kat shortly, but has time to help Eva. He says that her mom's likely right about the inheritance being a scam, but there could possibly be something to it. Eva later tells her mom it could be real, and Leslie's reaction is to say, "There is a chance that I could be related to Barack Obama. There's always a chance, but it never comes true." But Eva compares it to a lottery ticket. Tomas said to call and make sure not to offer any sensitive information in case it is a scam. Leslie reluctantly calls the number, and it appears the letter is genuine based on the reaction of the person on the other end. Regina reluctantly meets Jacob and Naomi at Orphe Jeans to talk about June, but believes absolutely nothing has changed where her sister's concerned. Despite progress made by Naomi in finding into about June's children, Regina wants no part of it, having already lost her sister to drugs and those kids to the system. Regina gives them several of June's belongings, including an unreadable letter. Naomi encourages Regina to be the one to give the box of junk to her sister. Naomi and Jacob try and carve out a moment to talk about his father's involvement in the cover-up, and her grandpa's giving her $1 in order to keep their conversations privileged. Naomi manages to reunite the sisters, and it turns out the letter is about June's kids and reveals that she, not a neighbor, called CPS in order to keep her children safe. It's a huge emotional moment as Regina realizes the sacrifice her sister made. June gives Naomi permission to look into the closed adoption, and Regina convinces her sister to come stay the night with her. Samantha continues trying to push her estranged dads together, this time by tricking Martin into delivering enough food for 15 people to the house. Smitty says he didn't send the supposedly from him text, and Samantha is revealed to be the sender. Although displeased by Samantha's actions, the guys agree to have a family dinner. Things quickly go south, with Pops and Dad butting heads over parenting and the entire family fighting about, well, everything fractured families fight about. But by episode's end, they are playing cards and laughing. What none of them know is that at that very moment, Jacob is sharing with Naomi the shocking news he's uncovered. Tyrell and Samantha are June's children. Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Eva has a lot of patience for her mother, but even that must be wearing out at the moment. In Wednesday's episode, Eva's frustrated by her mother's latest antics. Not even Nostradamus could predict what this lady is capable of or will do. The Duprees should batten down the hatches because Cyclone Leslie has not blown out of steam. Dancing is supposed to be a vertical expression of a horizontal desire, says wise woman Eva Thomas. Kat and Tomas need to reconnect, and what better way to do so than by dancing together? Let the music carry you away and vibe with your partner. It sounds good in theory, and in Wednesday's episode, Kat and Tomas do their best to find their rhythm during salsa night. Can the two tear up the dance floor and find their rhythm? I'm afraid not, and they couldn't be more suited for this. The only salsa that gets done correctly is the one on the menu. Tyrell and Samantha are some resilient kids, and they're going to need that quality this week. They have already been through the ringer, with Martin and Smitty taking a break, and Martin moving out. And now the next hit is rolling in. Jacob and Naomi have located the two adopted kids' biological mother. In Wednesday's episode, Tyrell and Samantha are blindsided. How will they react to knowing about the lady who put them up for adoption all those years ago? This is a moment to have both parents on the same page, and the family stays solid together. Chesley and Dr. Madison Montgomery have a cute relationship and are already fan favorites together. Allison, Chelsea's ex, has not gotten the memo that she is starting to act like a stalker and needs to stay firmly in the past. In Wednesday's episode, Chelsea bluntly makes her boundaries clear to Allison. The time for subtlety is over. Big, bold, and blunt to get the message across. But the question remains, will Allison leave and let it go, or will she up her game? All the makings of a dangerous situation are right there. On Beyond the Gates, Jacob went to the foster home that June's children were at and discovered that they were none other than Samantha and Tyrell, Smitty and Martin's adopted kids. Naomi has been relentless in her pursuit of answers for June, sometimes even feeling that it was more about Naomi than the lady she was helping. But today, all those extra efforts paid off. Naomi and her husband Jacob sat down with Regina, June's sister, at Orphe Jean's. Regina was wary about this meeting as she did not want to talk about June any further, but after much convincing, she revealed that she had a box of things that June had left with her sister the last time they saw each other. This box held a few keepsakes and a folded-up letter written on yellow office paper. Naomi read the letter and froze. Here was something that could be a last remaining chance to locate the children that June had abandoned. Naomi and Jacob asked Regina to wait for them while they went to get June, saying that it would be better if Regina were the one to give the box to June. Hesitant, Regina told them both that if she were there when the say got back, then okay. If she wasn't, then the box would be at the counter and not to contact her again. Before leaving, Naomi told Jacob that the letter was a Hail Mary play. Jacob was going to head to the foster home that children went to, and Naomi was going to get June to Orphe Jean's to see her sister. Naomi returned with June and was relieved to see that Regina was still there waiting. June wasn't impressed to see Regina, but took the box that was offered and then began to read the letter. Lots of tears ensued as it turns out that this letter, written by June and left in the box, Regina had never read all of it, only the first 2 lines, before dismissing it in her anger. June didn't abandon her 2 children as was previously thought. She rang CPS herself and made sure the kids were taken and given safety and a life that she knew she couldn't provide. Regina was forgiving now, knowing the whole story, and offered for June to come home with her and have a meal and laugh together. But the most incredible thing was yet to come. After the two sisters left, Naomi ran into Jacob as he came back to Orphe Jean's, asking how it went at the foster home. Jacob replied that the staff, as expected, were tight-lipped on any details, but then Jacob smiled and said, "Being a cop, I went to the director, and I was told who the children were. But we already know who the children are," said Naomi. Jacob replied, "There's more, and you'd better brace yourself." Jacob then relayed what he was told, that Ron and Cecile had their names changed after they were adopted, and they are your second cousins. Ron and Cecile are Tyrell and Samantha. Now they just have to break the news to Martin and Smitty, who at that very moment are reconnecting as a family with their two children over pizza and playing spades. All smiles, laughs, and looking like their old selves. The Tuesday, August 12th. Episode of Beyond the Gates was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, especially involving two of the storylines. First, June remembered her kids. Second, Jacob found out who her kids really are. And 3, Hayley went to the hospital for a follow-up to see if she could try to have another baby. Naomi remained determined to solve all of June's issues. And in Tuesday's episode, the breakthrough finally happened when the attorney asked Regina to show up at Orphe Jean's again. Regina brought a special box with her that June had left behind all those years ago. It was the key to June's breakthrough. Later, when Naomi brought June back, she looked at the box, specifically at a letter she had included in it. After reading the letter, June remembered her kids. The letter also answered an important question. It was June who called CPS and ensured her kids would have a good life, a life she knew she couldn't give them. Regina realized the sacrifice her sister had made, and she asked June to come back with her so they could spend time together and reconnect. In tears, June agreed, but that wasn't the only revelation. Jacob worked his cop magic. He went to the foster facility where he found out the news that fans have suspected for a while. The director was able to tell him who the kids were in June's picture. Ron and Cecile were really Martin and Smitty's kids, Tyrell and Samantha. Cut to the Richardson-Smith household, where Samantha had tricked the family into a pizza and game night that included Martin. Things started off awkwardly and painfully, but once the family worked their stuff out, it turned into fun and laughter. So, BTG has us spinning over Hayley's pregnancy or fake pregnancy. Today, she told Bill she wanted to go to the hospital and get checked to see if she would be able to start trying again. The doctor told them that they would be able to try again, just not right away. They could try again in 3 months. Hayley sounded so confident about going to the hospital, and then when Bill gave her an out, she chose to stay. That doctor is a good actress. Her presence has us wavering, but we're still going to stick with Hayley faking this whole situation. There could be a simple explanation. We suppose Hayley could have worked it out with that doctor to stage this checkup. Who knows? We still know nothing about Hayley other than she didn't have her own family, but she managed to be besties with Naomi. What do you think is happening here? And what do you think of the June, Tyrell, and Samantha reveal? Let us know in the comments. Beyond the Gates fans want more of Devon Hamilton from The Young and the Restless. He traveled to Fairmont Crest with an intriguing offer. He asked Miss Anita if she would like to record a solo jazz album that she could also co-executive produce with him. But BTG fans have an even better offer for Devon. It's safe to say this crossover was a success. Fans enjoyed watching Devon on the Monday, August 11th episode. Instagram is still burning up about his guest appearance. The official BTG Instagram account shared the photos of Devon with Anita and Vernon. The other photo at the bottom showed Devon with Danny, and it's all that fans are thinking about. The caption reads, "Welcome to Fairmont Crest." BTG fans hope this won't be Devon's last visit. Fans are loving this crossover event, but they would love Devon and Danny to get together, especially since her love life has been so messy lately. She deserves a break and happiness, but there's just one problem. Devon is still married to Abby. Danny is kind of involved with Andre, who has feelings for Ashley. If anything, this is a clear sign she needs to get away from this mess. "I need this Ashley and Andre narrative to go away, immediately," one fan wrote. "Yes, let's give Danny a guy she isn't related to as her new love interest. Andre is family," another fan suggested. "We need Devon and Danny as the new super couple," a third fan commented. "I see more romantic chemistry between Devon and this character from BTG than with Abby," someone else noted. Devon and Abby seem happily married. But Ordway has been reduced to a recurring role on Y&R, so it's safe to say that James' visit won't be the last. Anything can happen in the soap world, the Beyond the Gates. Spoilers for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, reveal that Eva and Chelsea need to set boundaries. Eva is fed up with her mother's antics, while Chelsea is frustrated with Allison. Eva is done with her mother's antics. Her patience is wearing thin. It sounds like she's about to set some clear boundaries with Leslie, but will it work? She gets sucked back into her mother's world, whether she likes it or not. But now, Eva is torn between her loyalty to her mother and a relationship with Ted and Nicole. And she's not the only one who's getting fed up lately. Chelsea will make her boundaries clear to Allison, who refuses to give her space. Will Allison get the message? We're interested in seeing what will happen next. She could cause more trouble for Chelsea. June could be Tyrell's and Samantha's biological mother. The two will be blindsided. It looks like Naomi will tell Smitty and Martin that they found their children's birth mother. Their world is about to turn upside down. Meanwhile, Kat and Tomas can't seem to find their rhythm in the bedroom. They're hoping that the dance floor will help them. Kat is desperate to make their relationship work, especially since Eva is waiting in the wings. She's willing to snatch Tomas up at any cost. Will salsa night shake up their relationship? Or will they find out that they're not a match? And what will Kat do once she's hit with the truth? Beyond the Gates. Spoilers for Tuesday, August 12th, suggest some interesting moments in the land of Fairmont Crest. Samantha Richardson concocts a scheme, while Jacob Hawthorne has an epiphany. Plus, Leslie Thomas digs for information. Read on to learn more about what's coming up on the CBS soap. Beyond the Gates spoilers. For Tuesday, August 12th, reveal that Samantha will scheme, but she has good intentions behind her little plot. It sounds like the teen girl will attempt a move to help her dads, Martin Richardson and Bradley "Smitty" Smith, reunite. From the looks of the BTG weekly preview, Samantha's plan will end up working. But it also sounds like there's more drama on the horizon for Smitty, Martin, Samantha, and Tyrell Richardson. Speaking of, Jacob will solve a mystery, and there's a good chance this is about the picture June carries around. Beyond the Gate, fans recently learned that the photo was of June's children, and the homeless woman abandoned them when they were little. Sadly, Child Services swooped in and took the kids, only for them to be placed in the system and adopted fairly quickly. As the adoption was closed, June and her sister, Regina, never found out where the kids were placed. Most viewers sense that Samantha and Tyrell are June's kids. So will Jacob have an epiphany about this and solve the ongoing mystery? Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday imply Leslie will look into some odd communication she receives. Will this be a legal letter or something from the government? Then again, maybe she gets a personal letter of some sort. During the BTG weekly preview, someone from Leslie's past will arrive at her door, unexpectedly. It looks like the woman is either an aunt or Leslie's mom. According to a Beyond the Gates fan on X.com, actress Arl Michelle will play the role of Peaches and will be the lady who visits Leslie, but she'll also have scenes with Ted Richardson. Is Peaches linked to the odd correspondence Leslie gets? The August 11th episode of CBS's newest soap opera, Beyond the Gates, welcomed a very special guest star, Daytime Emmy winner Bryton James, who crossed his young and restless character of Devon Hamilton over to the soap. He was visiting Fairmont Crest to make an offer to Anita Dupree, but things didn't go quite as he was hoping. After chatting with her daughter Nicole about the recent Articulettes reunion concert, Anita headed over to the country club to join her husband Vernon. He sat down at the table as she poured some coffee, and they both mentioned that it had been years since they'd seen the man who had invited them to meet. And then the man himself strode into the dining room. "Devon!" Anita called out as they both stood to greet him. "Welcome to Fairmont Crest." When Devon addressed them as Miss Anita and Senator Dupree, Vernon insisted that no formalities were necessary and invited him to sit with them. Devon smiled as he joked that he would try to keep his cool this time. "I remember when my dad introduced us at Indigo, I was extremely nervous," he recalled. Anita declared that Club had been jumping, and Devon remembered that his father had wanted her to take a turn on stage. Anita explained that she remembered the excitement of being backstage and getting ready to go on, only to have a bigger act steal your spotlight from you, and she didn't want to do that to another artist. "But oh, how we miss Neil," she said, reaching out to take her husband's hand. "His smile, his big heart, his love of music." "I know," Devon responded. "There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him. And you, certainly, were one of his favorites." Vernon joked that he always knew Neil had good taste. Anita asked after his family, and Devon briefly did the same before finally getting around to his proposal. "Your call was both intriguing and cryptic," Anita noted. Devon grinned as he responded, "Well, that's because I wanted to make sure that we were face-to-face when I presented you with what I think is a mind-blowing proposition." Intrigued, Anita informed Devon that he had her attention. "So I live-streamed the reunion concert," the record mogul explained, "and I was just completely blown away. And when you performed Loving You, I knew right then and there that I had my next platinum project for my jazz label." Vernon wondered if he was offering his wife a recording contract, and Devon confirmed, explaining that they would share executive producer credit. But every aspect of the album, from track selection to featured artists, would be hers to decide. "Well, Devon, I'm flattered," Anita admitted. "But I don't have the bandwidth to record, let alone produce an album at the moment." Vernon urged his wife to take time to consider the offer, but she reminded him that family had to come first, and she was needed here. Devon offered to book a studio in D.C., but she pointed out that they both knew there was more to recording an album than standing in front of a microphone. However, she then proposed a counteroffer, wondering if he would be interested in 2 out of 3 articulates. Anita declared that Tracy and Sharon sound as good as ever and deserved this opportunity. She also offered to perform as a featured artist on some tracks. Devon noted that it would move them from the jazz label to R&B, but he was intrigued. Vernon interrupted to note that his wife didn't seem like she was quite through. Anita added that she thought they should release the Let's Get Closer album, but adding the vocals of Barbara, the Articulate member, who had been forced out of the group before they hit the big time and subsequently passed away. Devon recalled that Barbara wasn't on the masters, but Anita revealed that she was on the demos, and the family archivist was digitizing them so they could be layered into the mix. Devon was eager to speak with Tracy and Sharon, and Anita promised to get them all the information he needed. "I wish that I could stick around and catch up more with you guys, but duty calls and I have to take off," he said, standing up to leave. "But if you find yourselves in Genoa City, please stop by and check out the new Winter's Jazz Lounge in the Athletic Club." Anita promised they'd take him up on that, but laughed and demurred when he suggested she could perform a set. Devon shook Vernon's hand, but when he reached out to Anita, she declared them family and enveloped him in a warm embrace. As Devon was exiting the club, he ran into Danny Dupree and shared that her mother had just turned down his record deal and wondered if she could put in a good word for him. "Sure," Danny grinned, "but when my mother says no, it's set in stone." Devon sighed that it was his loss, and Danny watched him go with a flirty look in her eye.